Hello, I'm Robert. I'm just going to go through again the simple points about this story. So basically the story is wrong. The 13th Mayan Baktun started on the 21st of December 2012 in our calendar, the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar only differs from our current Gregorian calendar by a few days, by 13 days so far. If I scroll down to where it is, then that's the Gregorian calendar. It was out by 10 days when Pope Gregory brought it into place, and it's now out by 13 days all the way through to 2100. They only differ on centuries, and on centuries that are not divisible by 4. Our current day in the Mayan calendar has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. The Mayan calendar has nothing to do with December or January or any of those days, any of those months. The Mayan calendar today is the 13th Baktun and it's the 7th Tun. It's the 12th kin or day in the 10th Buinal of the 7th Tun, which is like a year, and that's like a month, sort of, and in the 13th Baktun. So that's the Mayan calendar. And if you go and look at the Mayan calendar, pop up to where we've got it, here we are, Mayan calendar, then the 11th Baktun started in the 13th century, the 12th Baktun started in the 17th century, we have just had the start of the 13th Baktun in 2012, and there's nothing special about the Baktun. It's no more different. So we have someone in our group whose ancestry is Mayan, and he was saying in Facebook Doomsday Debunked, it's just like midnight, the start of a new day, the start of a new Baktun on a much longer time scale. They think of it cyclically. It's like a new Baktun, a new day. And this is them celebrating the new Baktun. So you might think, but surely, isn't that a reenactment? How can that be a real Mayan ceremony? Didn't they just disappear years ago? Well, no. Actually, the Mayans went up into the mountains when the Spanish invaded and destroyed their civilization. And so they still continue today. And there was some intermarrying with the Spaniards, and there was some mixing of their culture with Christianity, but they basically continued, and with the same calendar. So they were very mystified when Westerners came up and sort of said, oh, you're telling us the world's going to end. Absolute nonsense. They never had any idea of the world ending. So where did that come from? Well, it was a rather unethical, viral marketing ploy for a movie. And so they made this website where you could go and you could try and get a lottery number. You could click on the website to try and get a lottery number to be saved when the world ends. And this technique, and they said in there that the Mayans and scientists both say that the world's going to end in 2012. That's just a lie. Absolute complete lie. And it was a wildly successful viral marketing ploy. They earned over $500 million by doing that for their movie. It surely wouldn't have been anything like as popular if they hadn't told these big whoppers of a lie about it. And David Morrison says, I think when you lie on the internet and scare people to make a buck, that is ethically wrong. So you've all been scared just by a marketing ploy, by some people writing a script for a movie. And science is absolutely, utterly absurd. So you wouldn't know. So now if you go and check for, if you type that date, June 21, Mayan, type that in, so someone who doesn't know anything about that, and you get top stories, Mayan calendar was wrong, end of the world. That's under the all. You go to news, you get all this stuff, the Mayan calendar was wrong. So you would just go down and you think, oh, so they've proved that the Mayan calendar is wrong. It really is going to happen, and then there's going to be something horrible is going to happen. Not people don't even click through to the story. Many of the stories won't say either. But it's not true, that's just fake news. Very sadly, Google News is full of fake news on topics like this. And really very, very low quality fake news. So this was based on, what was it all based on? It turns out that, so it's a red top tabloid that will just say anything, like they just made up this story that a comedian, Freddie Starr, ate a hamster. This, the people who like red top tabloids, then this ranks as one of their favourite stories. This one, completely made up, it's been ranked as one of the top tabloid stories of all time. Red top tabloid, just made up. No hamsters were harmed in the making of that story. So this one, then it's run from this was based on a single tweet by someone who clearly didn't know much about calendars. He's obviously deleted his account in embarrassment. It just doesn't exist anymore. Take a little while, his account doesn't exist. Now, I'm not going to dox him, but it's easy to find out who he is, but I'm not going to say. And but he is a graduate student working for an MSc, and he probably was, maybe he was drunk, maybe he was just having a bit of a laugh with his friends, and he did this tweet, and then he goes online and he sees all this stuff. Can you imagine how embarrassing that must be? So he's deleted his tweet and he's deleted his entire account. So he made a big mistake in his possibly drunken tweet. Who knows what state of mind he was when he did it. But he made the mistake of thinking that the Julian calendar goes out by 11 days relative to the Gregorian calendar every year. And then he calculated that would mean that by now it's 8 years out. And then he came up with his 21st of June date for that. But actually, the Julian calendar differs from the Gregorian calendar by 1 day every 128 years. Most centuries, the thing is that the Julian calendar has a leap year every century, whereas the Gregorian calendar only has a leap year in centuries that's divisible by 4, such as 1600 or 2000 or 2400. So they go out by 1 day every century, except on the year 2000 didn't make any difference, obviously, because they both call that a leap year. So we're currently 13 days ahead. And 21st of December on the Gregorian calendar was the 8th of December on the Julian calendar. Now, so that is just a mistake, a complete mistake. Then another story that I get asked about is this chap who just made up a story that Stephen Blogg miscalculated, and this is a joke post. But he's very dry. He doesn't say ha 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 anywhere. He doesn't say this is a joke, and people read it and believe it. But he puts fake quotes into Stephen Hawking, and if you've got a bit of scientific background, the whole thing is totally preposterous. Anyway, so he claims that it's based on the Ethiopian calendar. So now if you go up to the actual date, well, it doesn't matter what the Ethiopians say, it doesn't matter what the Gregorians say. Remember that it's just this date is the 12th kin or day in the 10th lunar in the 7th tune of the 13th Baktun. And the Mayans, they have nothing at all to do with, they don't even have the month of December. And their date starts in 3114 BC is when their calendar starts, not the birth of Jesus. 13 Baktun starts on the 21st December in the Gregorian calendar, sorry, the 8th of December in the Julian calendar, the 12th Tahusas in 2012 in the Ethiopian, in 2005 in the Ethiopian calendar, and the 13th Baktun in the Mayan calendar. So, I hope that's a bit clearer. And then the Mayans thought that that we live on the back of a crocodile. There is a crocodile. Then, so why pay attention to astronomy when they think we live on the back of a crocodile? And I talk about the tunes, about the Baktuns. They go on and on. There's a 17th, there's an 18th, there's a 19th. Eventually you'll get the first big tune in 4772, which presumably will be a great day of celebration for the Mayans, assuming they're still around by then. So, hopefully, and then if you're worried about the Earth crust slipping, it can't. The Earth is solid to a depth of over nearly 3,000 kilometers, and the continents move by very, very slow motion of solid rock as tiny crystals just jiggling a little bit, and it moves so slowly and over such a vast scale in time and space. And the volcanoes, little hot spots where two plates rub against each other, most of them, and some got heated up from within, were little patches of molten rock. It's not the entire surface, or not entire molten all the way. It's a little patch of molten rock. Little blobs here and there. So the crust can't slip. So anyway, that's me, slightly shorter version of this video, and hopefully helps some of you. And you've got links in the description to take you to the article itself, and then if you want to join our Doomsday Debunk group, then do please look at the rules before you join. It's on Facebook. Either you can join either to help people who are scared, or if you're scared and you need help, kind of fact-checking book group to help scared people.